Journal entry. Day 1. It's surreal to be writing this. Pen scratching against the paper in the dim glow of a flickering candle. The world outside my window is no longer the one I know. The once familiar sounds of a bustling city have been replaced by an eerie silence, punctuated only by the distant moans of the undead. The outbreak began like a whisper, a murmur of fear that crept through the cracks of society. News reports spoke of a mysterious virus, spreading like wildfire and reanimating the dead. I remember dismissing it as another sensationalized headline, never fathoming that it would soon knock on my doorstep. Today marks the collapse of everything we once took for granted. The streets, once alive with the pulse of civilization, now lie deserted, abandoned. I've lost count of the days. Time has become an abstract concept, a luxury overshadowed by the relentless pursuit of survival. Morning light reveals the city's decay in stark detail. The air is thick with an acrid stench, a putrid cocktail of death and despair. I ventured outside cautiously, my footsteps echoing into the emptiness. The world around me is a mosaic of shattered lives, fragments of a reality forever broken. The groans of the undead linger in the air like a haunting melody. They shuffle aimlessly, their vacant eyes fixed on some distant, insatiable hunger. I've seen neighbors, friends, and strangers succumb to this grotesque fate, their humanity stripped away, leaving only a grotesque parody of life. My apartment has become a fortress, barricaded against the encroaching tide. The windows are boarded up, and the door reinforced with whatever makeshift materials I could scrounge together. Each night, I huddle in the darkness, listening to the distant wails of the undead, a cacophony that echoes the collective tragedy of the world. Resources are dwindling, and the city's water supply is tainted. A sip from the last bottle of water tasted like desperation. I ration my food, clinging to the hope that this nightmare will end, and some semblance of order will be restored. Communication is a distant memory. The once vibrant signals of the digital world are silent, and my phone, now a relic of a bygone era, remains an inert slab of plastic and metal. I'm left to wonder if anyone else is there still fighting, still holding on to hope. In this bleak landscape, I am both survivor and witness, chronicling the demise of a world that once thrived. Each scratch of this pen is a testament to my defiance, a declaration that I refuse to become another forgotten casualty. As I prepare for another night, I can't shake the feeling that the worst is yet to come. The city, once a tapestry of dreams and aspirations, is now a canvas painted with the somber hues of an apocalyptic nightmare. This journal, my only companion, is a lifeline to sanity in a world that has lost its way. Journal entry. Day 5. The days have blurred together in a continuous stream of survival, each one marked by the rising and setting of the sun. A relentless march of time against a backdrop of decay. The barricades have held, but the moans of the undead linger like a haunting lullaby, a constant reminder that the world outside is no longer ours. Food supplies are dwindling faster than anticipated. The canned goods that once seemed abundant now mock me from the nearly empty pantry. Hunger gnaws at my stomach, a relentless companion that refuses to be ignored. I ventured out today, armed with a makeshift weapon, to scavenge for anything that could sustain me a little longer. The streets were a graveyard of abandoned cars and shattered glass, a testament to the chaos that unfolded here. I moved cautiously, my eyes darting between shadows, hyper-aware of every creak and groan around me. The city, once a thriving metropolis, now felt like a ghost town haunted by the echoes of its own demise. I found a convenience store, its windows shattered and its shelves picked clean by desperate hands. The air inside was stale, tinged with the scent of spoiled goods and rotting flesh. I scavenged what I could. A few dusty cans of beans, a bottle of water with an expiration date long past. It's a meager haul, but survival has become a game of inches. As I make my way back, a distant scream pierced the silence. My heart pounded as I quickened my pace, fearing the worst. The barricades loomed on the horizon, like a beacon of false safety. The scream intensified, accompanied by guttural growls that sent shivers down my spine. Reaching my refuge, I gasped for air, my hands trembling as I secured the barricades behind me. The scream had faded into the symphony of the undead, a chorus of hunger and desperation that surrounded me like a vice. I huddled in the darkness, my meager supplies a cruel reminder of the fragility of life in this world. Loneliness is a heavy burden. The silence within these walls amplifies the absence of human connection. I find myself talking to the walls, to the empty air, desperate for a shred of normalcy. The memories of laughter, shared meals, and the warmth of human touch feel like fragments of a dream slipping through my fingers. Night falls, and I'm left with my thoughts. The flickering candle casting dancing shadows on the walls. Sleep is elusive, haunted by nightmares that bleed into waking hours. The line between reality and dreams blurs, and I often wake with a start, disoriented and afraid. In this journal, my confidant in solitude, I grapple with the uncertainty of tomorrow. The world beyond these walls is both a threat and an enigma, and the pages of this journal bear witness to my struggle for survival and sanity. I cling to that hope. Somewhere in this desolate landscape, others are writing their own stories of defiance against the encroaching darkness. Journal entry, Day 12. The days continue to meld into an indistinguishable continuum of survival. The walls of my makeshift fortress seem to close in on me, a constant reminder of the fragile barrier between safety and the horrors outside. The once spacious apartment feels suffocating, and the relentless moans of the undead echo in my ears even in the moments of silence. Hunger has become a constant companion, gnawing at my insides. The meager supplies I scavenge are now a distant memory, and each meal is a careful rationing of the little that remains. Desperation lingers like a bitter taste, and I find myself contemplating the unthinkable, venturing further into the city in search of sustenance. The occasional shuffle of undead footsteps punctuates the silence, and I move the cautious steps of a scavenger navigating a graveyard. The city has become a macabre theater, and the undead, the actors in a play of unending tragedy. As I scavenge through the remnants of abandoned stores, a distant noise caught my attention. It was a feeble cry for help, a desperate plea that cut through the monotony of the undead moans. My instincts wavered between self-preservation and a flicker of humanity long suppressed. Against the warnings echoed in my mind, I followed the sound through the labyrinth of the streets. The cries led me to an alley, where a figure huddled against a dumpster, surrounded by a trio of hungry undead. My heart raced as I weighed the risks, the moral dilemma of saving a life in a world that seemed to have lost all sense of morality. In a desperate surge of adrenaline, I lunged at the nearest undead, my makeshift weapon sticking with ferocity born of survival. The others turned toward me, their milky eyes fixed on the new intruder. The cries for help grew louder, and the figure in the corner looked up, eyes wide with a mix of terror and hope. The skirmish was brutal, a dance of life and death in the narrow confines of the alley. My weapon, stained with the putrid blood of the undead, became an extension of my will to survive. The figure, a young woman with disheveled hair and tear-streaked cheeks, scrambled to her feet as the last undead collapsed to the ground. Her name is Emily. She has been part of a group trying to escape the city when they were ambushed. She's the sole survivor, and her eyes carry the weight of witnessing the demise of those she once called friends. We share a silent understanding, a bond forged in the crucible of survival. Against my initial reservations, I invited her back to my fortress. The walls that had felt suffocating now seemed like a heaven, a sanctuary against the relentless horrors outside. We spoke little, the unspoken understanding of predicament filling the air. As night falls, I find myself cautiously hopeful. Emily's presence is a reminder that, in the midst of this nightmare, moments of connection still exist. The pages of this journal, once as solitary as testament to my survival, may now bear witness to a shared struggle for a semblance of normalcy in this fractured world. I write these words by candlelight, the dim glow casting shadows on the walls. The future is uncertain, and the dangers that lurk beyond the barricades remain ever present. But for now, in the quiet moments between the moans of the undead, I allow myself a fleeting moment of solace, a fragile ember of hope in the encroaching darkness. Journal entry, Day 20. The passage of time is both a relentless march and a fleeting whisper in this world that refuses to adhere to the familiar cadence of the past. Emily and I have settled into a rhythm of survival within the confines of this fortress. The walls, once a symbol of isolation, now stand as a bulwark against the relentless onslaught of the undead. Our days are spent in a delicate dance of scavenging for supplies, rationing what little sustenance we can find, and reinforcing the barricades that separate us from the nightmarish reality outside. The journal, once my solitary confidant, now bears witness to the shared struggle for survival in this dystopian landscape. Emily and I have formed a bond of necessity. She's become a silent companion in this silent world, a partner in this delicate ballet of avoiding the undead and securing the means to stay alive. Yet, in the quiet moments, when the flickering candlelight casts shadows on the wall, I can't escape the nagging question. How long can this fragile sanctuary endure? The city is a labyrinth of danger, its street fraught with the unpredictable menace of the undead. Venturing beyond our refuge feels like stepping onto a tightrope suspended above a chasm of uncertainty, and yet the dwindling supplies and the gnawing hunger force us to consider the unthinkable. A journey into the heart of the city in search of sustenance. Our decision is hesitant but unanimous. The next morning, armed with makeshift weapons and a dwindling courage, we step into the abyss beyond the barricades. The streets are a graveyard of abandoned dreams, the buildings towering above like silent sentinels of a world that once thrived. The echoes of footsteps are swallowed by the oppressive silence, broken only by the distant moans of the undead. We are cautiously scanning every corner for signs of danger. This city is a desolate canvas, painted with the remnants of humanity's struggle for survival. As we navigate the eerily quiet streets, a new realization settles in. We are not alone. Other survivors, like us, navigate the shadows, their eyes carrying the same mixture of fear and determination. The unspoken understanding between us is a fragile thread that binds the remnants of humanity in this desolate landscape. We encounter a group holed up in an abandoned store, their weary eyes assessing us with a mix of suspicion and hope. Conversations are brief, the shared language of survival transcending the need for unnecessary words. Information is exchanged. Rumors of safe zones on the outskirts. Whispers of a network of survivors trying to rebuild. The encounter leaves me with conflicting emotions. A renewed hope in the resilience of humanity, but also a realization that trust is a currency in short supply. The lines between ally and adversary blur in this fractured world, and every stranger is a potential danger. As we return to our fortress, the weight and uncertainty hangs heavy in the air. The journey into the city has yielded supplies, but it has also cast a shadow of doubt on the fragile stability we've managed to carve out. The barricades, once a symbol of safety, now seem like feeble defenses against the relentless tide outside. The flickering candlelight dances on the page of this journal, capturing the essence of our shared struggle. The future remains uncertain, and the survival of this fragile haven hinges on the choices we make in ever-shifting landscape of this dystopian reality. Journal entry, Day 30. Emily and I have become reluctant architects of a new existence, our survival dependent on the delicate balance between caution and desperation. The encounters with other survivors have become a double-edged sword. We forge alliances with some, sharing resources and strategies for navigating the city's perilous terrain. Yet the specter of betrayal lingers, a reminder that this world, trust is a commodity more precious than any ration of food. Our journal, a testament to the passage of time and the trials faced, is filled with the ink of our fears and hopes. Its pages have become a silent witness to the evolving narrative of our survival. But as the ink stains the paper, so do the stains of the world outside mark our souls. The city holds secrets, some whispered in hushed tones by fellow survivors, others hidden in the shadows of dilapidated buildings. There are rumors of a faction, a group that has harnessed the chaos for their own game. The Umbra, they're called, a name that sends shivers down our spines. Their motives remain a mystery, but their presence is a looming threat that taints the fragile hope we cling to. Emily and I embark on occasional forays beyond our fortress, navigating the city's desolation with a wariness that borders on paranoia. The encounters with the undead have become routine, our makeshift weapons striking with mechanical precision born of necessity. The whispers of the Umbra, however, linger in the air like a toxic fog, raising the stakes of our survival. As we navigate the ruins of a once grand library, a relic of knowledge now reduced to dusty remnants, we stumble upon a cache of journals. Their pages, filled with the handwritten accounts of those who came before us, echo with the same themes of loss, survival, and the relentless pursuit of hope. It's a sobering reminder that our story is just one chapter in a large saga of humanity's struggle against the encroaching darkness. The whisper of the Umbra grow louder, and we are forced to make choices that blur the lines between morality and survival. Every alliance is a gamble, every decision a tightrope walk between self-preservation and the preservation of what makes us human. The flickering candlelight casts shadows on the walls of our fortress, and the journal lies open before me. The ink stains tell a story of resilience, of a determination that holds on to fragments of normalcy in a world gone mad. But as the days press on, the ink may all tell a tale of compromise, a sacrifice made in the name of survival. In this ever-changing landscape, where the undead roam and the shadows of the Umbra loom, we press forward. The future remains a hazy mirage, and the pages of this journal may one day tell a story of redemption or despair. Until then, we cling to the ink-stained hope that, in the face of the Eclipse dawn, the human spirit will endure.